Best altcoins 2026 under $1 next big movers. What if the biggest opportunities for growth in the crypto market in 2026 are not in Bitcoin or hundreds of dollars worth of coins, but in altcoins that cost less than $1? A survey referred to in the Institutional Digital Asset Survey report found that 73% of institutional investors want to increase the share of crypto, while 81% prioritize access to the market through ETFs or ETPs, a sign that a large wave of capital may be preparing to shift to digital assets with a clear platform, liquidity, and growth story. But don't let the low prices fool you. Not every altcoin under $1 is cheap, and not every project will survive the next cycle. In this video, we will analyze why the altcoin pool below $1 could become one of the most significant opportunities in 2026, explore 5 candidates for strong growth catalysts, and identify potential buy zones, actual price scenarios, and risks that could cause investors to lose money before the bull wave actually begins head. Crypto Radar. First of all, the 2026 crypto market is receiving greater interest from financial institutions. A survey conducted by EY Parthenon and Coinbase Institutional in January 2026 of 351 decision makers at financial institutions found that nearly 73% plan to increase the share of digital assets this year, while 74% expect crypto prices to rise in the next 12 months. Notably, 66% of institutions surveyed have approached crypto through spot exchange products, while 81% said they would prefer to own digital assets through registered and managed investment vehicles rather than directly holding coins on exchanges or personal wallets. These figures do not mean that billions of dollars will immediately flow directly into every altcoin below $1. However, they do indicate a very important change. Crypto is slowly moving from a market primarily driven by individual investors to one that is studied by institutions, allocates capital, and manages risk more seriously. As Bitcoin and other large-cap assets become the first door for institutional cash flow to enter the market, the higher risk portion of capital can gradually turn to smaller projects, especially altcoins that have good liquidity, practical applications, revenue, evolving ecosystems, or the ability to appear in managed investment products. The regulatory environment is also becoming an important catalyst. The Clarity Act was developed to further delineate the regulatory roles of the SEC and CFTC, establish disclosure requirements, and create a more specific regulatory framework for digital assets. The bill was passed by the U.S. House of Representatives by a vote of 294 for and 134 against in July 2025. By May 14, 2026, the Senate Banking Committee continued to pass the bill by a vote of 15-9 to take the legislative process one step further. The bill does not yet mean full regulation is complete, but it does suggest that crypto is moving closer to a market with clear rules for institutions, exchanges, and investment product issuers. The altcoin pool under $1 is particularly attractive because they create a sense of accessibility. For $100, an investor can buy 200 tokens for 50 cents, but only buy a very small portion of Bitcoin. This creates a strong psychological effect. Many believe that a coin rising from 20 cents to $1 is more likely than Bitcoin raising tens of thousands of dollars. It is this mentality that can help low-priced coins attract cash flow faster as the market enters a risk-taking state. However, this is also one of the most dangerous areas of the market. Altcoins below $1 often have high volatility, lower liquidity than Bitcoin, are susceptible to token unlocking and can drop between 70% and 90% when cash flows withdraw from the market. So, our goal is not to find the 5 cheapest coins, but to find the 5 projects under $1 that have the best balance between valuation, liquidity, technology, application levels, and growth catalysts in 2026. Before exploring this list, if you are interested in XRP and want to learn how to build a suitable investment strategy for 2026, please check out the video XRP price prediction. Is $5 possible in 2026? Latest update, posted on the Crypto Radar YouTube channel. For now, let's start with the top altcoins 2026 under $1 most notable. The first candidate is Stellar XLM, a public network designed to transfer funds and issue digital assets at a fast, low cost. The native token is often called Stellar lumens, which are used to pay fees and keep the network running. In the first quarter of 2026, the system processed a total of 22.5 billion operations, maintained 99.99% uptime, reached 10.6 million unique addresses, and kept the average fee around 1% of a cent. For Stellar crypto followers, this is a combination of accessible pricing and a proven infrastructure capable of operating at scale. The next catalyst is the goal of adding $1 billion in net asset value by 2026. In July, the Ecosystem Development Organization also expanded its partnership with UNDP following research in 17 countries and a live pilot in 5 countries. This helps to argue that the Stellar cryptocurrency has a more factual basis than a mere speculation story. The next contender is Sui blockchain, a smart contract platform that uses the Move language and an asset-focused data model. In 2024, the network recorded 7.5 billion transactions, peaking at 58.4 million transactions in a day and 2.45 million daily active wallets at its peak. The DeFi ecosystem also exceeded $2 billion in total lock-in value in early 2025. However, the Sui crypto price must be placed next to a maximum supply of 10 billion tokens, and the distribution schedule may create selling pressure in the future. At the end of May 2026, the mainnet experienced 3 outages after a major upgrade, and the team had to implement corrective measures. So, Sui crypto analysis must balance the speed of development with operational risks. A Sui token can benefit strongly when economic activity increases, but still face pressure to unlock supply. The Sui prediction and Sui coin prediction content should be based on the recovery and growth of the ecosystem, while Sui crypto is only really attractive when users create sustainable value instead of just making transactions to hunt for rewards. The third candidate is Ondo Finance, a project focused on bringing treasury bonds, stocks, ETFs, and traditional financial products to the blockchain. This is the closest option to the managed capital flow story in the reference video. The Project S tokenized stock product surpassed $1 billion in total lock-in value by May 2026, while Ondo Chain was designed as a Layer 1 proof-of-stake dedicated to institutional-grade real assets. The strength of Ondo Crypto is that the story has moved from idea to product with usage metrics. In July 2026, the platform announced tokenized stock representations based on the interest generated by DTCS tokenization service on securities deposited at DTC. This is a notable development as DTC is located in the post-trading infrastructure of the US stock market. The fourth candidate is the Canton network, a public privacy configurable system built for financial transactions that require security and interoperability. The official site says the network is processing more than $6 trillion per month and more than $350 billion of tokenized US Treasury repo per day. A report published in May May 2026 also documented more than 150 applications in operation or in development. This is not just a low-price token story, but a network that is attempting to bring large-scale financial operations to an on-chain infrastructure. From January 2026, 62% of the reward funds are devoted to prominent applications, making cryptocurrencies a tokenomics experiment worth watching. The final candidate is Hedera, a distributed ledger network that uses hashgraph technology instead of traditional blockchain architecture. The project is geared towards applications that require speed, predictable costs, compliance, and organizational level governance. The official page says the transaction is completed in under 3 seconds, while fees are priced in US dollars and converted to tokens at the time of payment. This sets crypto Hedera apart from networks with fees that fluctuate sharply when demand is high. The board consists of global businesses, institutions, and universities that operate consensus nodes with equal voting rights and term limits. Asset Tokenization Studio also supports the issuance and management of tokenized assets under ERC 1400 and ERC 3643. Therefore, the clusters of Hedera Hashgraph, Hedera Hashgraph HBAR, and Hedera HBAR are often associated with the story of tokenization, payments, and enterprise applications. HBAR coin is suitable for investors who believe that tokenization and enterprise infrastructure will become major topics in 2026. Overall, the 5 applicants represent 5 different corners of the market: cross-border payments, high-performance blockchain, real assets, private capital markets, and enterprise infrastructure. No project is certain to be a winner. It is important not to buy just because the price is below $1. Look at the capitalization, supply, unlock schedule, users, revenue, and the ability of the ecosystem to transfer value to the token. That is the foundation for us to move to the next section: entry zones, price scenarios, and risks that can change the whole investment argument. First, XLM coin can be considered to accumulate around the 0.17 to 0.19 zone. If the price crosses 0.22 with good volume, the uptrend can be strengthened. In the base scenario, XLM could be headed for 0.30 to $0.45. If the altcoin market rises sharply, the 0.60 to $0.80 zone could become the next target. The biggest risk is competition from XRP, stablecoins, and other low-cost payment networks. Next, the 0.60 to 0.70 zone may be a suitable accumulation zone for the SUI network. Cautious investors can wait for the price to exceed $0.85 before increasing its share. The base scenario of SUI is in the zone of 1.20 to 1.60 US dollars. In a strong alt season, the price can be directed to 2 to 3 US dollars. However, the token unlocking schedule, the maximum supply of 10 billion SUI, and the decline of DeFi activity can put pressure on the price. Ondo coin can be considered around the 0.3 to 0.4 zone. If the price breaks out and sustains above 0.5, the next target can be around 0.6 to 0.8. In a positive scenario, Ondo could test the 0.90 to 1.20 zone if the trend of asset tokenization continues to grow. The main risk is that the asset value on the platform increases but does not directly generate demand for Ondo tokens. Investors also need to monitor the token distribution schedule and legal changes related to real assets. For Canton coin, the zone of 0.11 to 0.13 US dollars can be used to open small positions. If the price breaks out of 0.16 US dollars, the next target can be 0.20 to 0.30 US dollars. In a very positive scenario, Canton crypto could aim for 40 to 50 cents. However, this is a newer project and has a high level of speculation. The biggest risk lies in the token issuance model. If the amount of new tokens created is higher than the amount of fees burned, the price may be under pressure in the long term. HBAR can be partially accumulated around the 0.06 to 0.07 zone. If it breaks out of 0.085, the price can test the psychological mark of 10 cents. The base scenario of HBAR is in the 0.12 to 0.16 USD zone. If the market is favorable and the enterprise application grows strongly, the price can be directed to 0.20 to 0.30 US dollars. The main risks are large supply, low fee revenue, and the concentration of the node system. Regardless of the coin you choose, you should not allocate all of your capital to one project or buy in one go. A reasonable strategy might be to divide the position into 3 parts. The first at the accumulation zone, the second when the market confirms the trend, and the last used only when the price corrects but the underlying argument remains intact. Ultimately, the goal is not to find the coin that can rise the most in theory, but to build a portfolio that has a reasonable return to risk ratio. XLM and HBAR are infrastructure-oriented. SUI offers high growth potential but is under supply pressure. Ondo represents the trend of real-world crypto assets, and CC Coin is a newer option with great potential but higher risks. Please note, the content in this video is intended to provide information and education only, not financial advice, investment or trading recommendation of any cryptocurrency. Always do your own research, assess your risk tolerance, and only invest with the amount you can afford to lose. Among the top 5 coins analyzed, which one do you believe has the potential to be the next big mover of 2026? Share your choice and price target in the comments. If the video brings value, don't forget to like, subscribe to the Crypto Radar channel, and ring the notification bell to not miss the latest crypto analysis. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.